Welcome back to Human Design Playtime. Hey Janet, how are you?
I'm good. Tammy, how are you?
I'm good. Janet has been watching the World Cup and excited about some of these football players, and we wanted to come and share them with you, talk about their designs.
Yeah, I'm kind of well, my friend's husband got me into the World Cup in a couple weeks ago, and now I can't stop watching it. So I'm obsessed. I will say that neither of these football players, American soccer players, uh, are our clients. They haven't paid us, they haven't hired us. We don't know their exact birth time, but I did look on astrodeist.com and found the most accurate birth time for only three players of the 15 players I want to do charts for. So there's a little AA next to their birth times, which means it's likely that it came from a birth certificate. Again, we don't know, but we are using them as a teaching tool. So even if these charts aren't precise, we're using it so that you can learn about human design. And today we're going to talk about Messi and Ronaldo. We're just going to start with Messi, of course. We're starting with Messi. Um, Now, Tammy is not following football. She's not following soccer, the World Cup at all. So she hasn't watched clips. I've been obsessively, probably 2 hours a day, watching soccer, old games, new games, highlights, etc.
Hmm. Okay.
So Tammy knows nothing about their personalities. And I want to ask her first before I chime in. Tammy, what do you see in Messi's chart? Who's behind my background?
Well, I see he has got a lot of definition. That was the first thing I thought. Like, wow, like has a lot of consistency in who he is. But some of the things that really stood out to me is he has that 45-21. So he's the tribal leader. Um, but also the 515, which is kind of about the flow and routine. So people get into his flow when he's around.
Interesting observations. Good. And I'm not going to say anything yet. Can I
Okay.
ask, regarding his profile, what would you guess his profile is about, and what kind of person might he be?
So his profile is a 5-2. So he's a messenger natural. And so he has a lot of natural talent. And he's here to really be this practical messenger to kind of get the word out that people do maybe project on him what they want. They may not always see him for who he really is.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I'm glad you said. No, I've been watching him. I've been watching how he moves. I certainly don't know how he thinks
Mm.
because he doesn't reveal it through his body. It's very interesting how quick he can make his changes. But I was watching some footage of how he is revered as a savior and a champion, and people run into the field to kiss his feet because he has special feet. They kiss his feet. And he has his own bodyguard while he plays to get people off the but in the earlier years, people were just coming at him. And I also have seen footage of when, like, the fifth line, as you're talking about, the fifth line is the savior, the teacher, the general. But when they don't deliver, they are hated. Like, there were people burning pictures of him, burning his jerseys when he didn't deliver a win. Very interesting how could be burned at the stake. Now, he's, of course, he's, as all the soccer players do, or football players have bodyguards and coverage, etc. But he's really seen as, there's a movie called The Messiah. I didn't even see it, but like there's a movie about he's a very much of a fifth line, and you touched on the two in his profile, a natural. Um, of course, it looks effortless. And part of how he plays is now he conserves his energy and he walks around the field until it's go time. Other people are playing defense and offense all the time. And he's conserving until he strikes, until he comes in, which I thought was pretty interesting. Um, and I noticed that at the bottom, here's my thumb. The bottom, it says 28, transformation. That's the fighter and the game player, right? That's like a theme in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and even though he doesn't have the whole strength, it's still a huge part of who he is. Like, what's worth fighting for? What's the meaning and what are we doing? Um,
I would say that his strength of um, judgment could be really good in that, like the correcting what needs to be corrected. And it does go up to his communication and action, which is, I mean, wrong profile, but here the brown at the top is communication and action. So he has the ability to really see what went wrong in the game and tweak, correct. And he's always going through different cycles where maybe he starts something, but he's able to take it through to completion.
good catch. You're talking about the channel that's connecting the red box at the bottom to the brown box at the bottom, cycles.
Yeah.
And the brown square at the bottom to the brown triangle, that's the channel of judgment, the gate of correction with joy, matched with joy. And he has it in red completely and completely in black, which means conscious and unconscious. He's aware of it and his body naturally does it. I also think it's interesting that he has the 44-24.
Mm-hmm.
And like he is the front man for his team. Like in school, Tammy, we learned about like this channel is the natural salesperson. Let's say it's a place that makes cars. There are the mechanics, there are the financial people, there's everybody there, but it's the person who sells it is going to be hailed as a hero, but also crucified when they don't sell, because when that person is able to transmit and get it across to other people, then everybody benefits, the whole team benefits. Everybody gets paid.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting, and that he's not conscious of that, but he is that. What do you know about the logical strength up at the top between the mind and the communication?
So that's like a design, what is organized being?
Yes,
So the
organizational being, yeah.
the
I agree.
62
Yeah.
the 62 is about the details, and the 17 is about opinions, to create this organized string. And as you said, it's very logical. He has a lot of logic in his design, as well as a lot of tribal support. So, he is probably, again, I haven't watched any of it, but is he like the leader out there on the field?
Yeah, he's recognized as that, as the person who's gonna save the day when it needs saving,
That's
which
cool.
is different than Ronaldo. He's a 4-6, and he is a leader, and his social network is important. His team is important. It's a different kind of leader, the 5s and the 6, kind of like you and me.
Mhm.
I'm a 5, you're a
Two,
6.
or you're a 2-5, so
I'm a
you're
2-5.
opposite. Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
a 4-6, so similar, different, but similar.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that when we did our backgrounds, that I had Lionel behind me and you have Cristiano behind you.
It's
That's
kind of
kind of
funny.
perfect.
Yes.
Well,
Um,
as a 4-6-6-4, if you have these numbers, what does that mean to you?
So the 4 is like this influencer connector. They get their best opportunities through their network, and their network is very important to them. The 6 is this leader or role model after 50. But they have a three different life stage process where from birth to 30 years old, they're living their line or living their life more in a pioneering way, lots of trial and error. From 30 to 50, there's some healing involved, like where they kind of step back a little bit from the network and, start to build their career. But then after 50, it's like coming off the roof to share your wisdom with the world. What you've learned in those really it's the first 50. Like, we talk a lot about the first 30 years, but I think it's really the first, for me, I'm 50, I'm 54. I'll be 54 this year. Um, I would say for me, I've felt that pioneering, that trial and error most of my life. So I think that it really goes a little further than we talk about too much in school. Like maybe the 30s and 50s is a little calmer than that first 30 years, but I think that there's still a lot of trial and error that happens always, really.
And that, yeah. And Ronaldo, who you're speaking about, his team was just had to leave the World Cup because they were favored to win, and surprisingly, they didn't win. So they didn't move on. They got very far, but they didn't move on. And it's not his error, but it's one of those things of he's still going to struggle and reach for that. And if we look at his, I know he's got 38 in his chart. He's got the whole channel of struggle. He has the entire channel. So he's going to keep going until he gets it or until he finds what is valuable. Yeah. I do want to read a little story time, about the life work themes for each of them. So first, Messi. He has a transpersonal focus for his life work theme, and it is prevention. You always seem to meet what doesn't work. It is a gift when used to lovingly guide society away from making the same mistakes over again. And his conscious trait, the black line of numbers over there, is 15, diversity. He has a capacity to accept and find a place in society for the full spectrum of human behavior. He helps ensure that each of us is able to make a contribution to the myriad ways of that love exists and to project transparent love for humanity's diversity out into the world. I would say that's accurate. And the little summary of his top 4 numbers, red side and black side, the top 2 on each side makes 4 numbers. Diversity, behavior of self, very much. He struggles with that with the refs and other players, especially when he was younger. And his unconscious is opinions and correction. And he fulfills his purpose through physical form.
That would make sense, right?
Yeah. And his past nodes, his past environment has the 18 in it, which I thought was kind of interesting. 18, which is correction, and the 48, which is skills. And it's a 48.1, which makes him the authority on the depth of those skills, going deeper.
Yes.
Isn't the 48 the depth?
The 48 is depth. Yep.
And that's you and me. 16 is skills. You all the way, baby. 1,000,000 skills this woman has. I have to call her to brush my teeth well. Like, how do I change this on the screen? She made this happen today. And I have the depths. I'll just go into the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting. So speaking of his nodes, his environment, like where he's around, that 48.3 and the 21.3, like he's around a lot of people who are striving for control, right? Which makes so much sense, right? You have to be able to control the ball.
Yeah.
I would like to say that control isn't always about like controlling others. Control really is about controlling your own resources. We don't control other people. We have to learn to
Right.
control ourselves. And then, as you said, the depth, so he's had a lot of people in his life. Actually, he's still in that past life theme. So
Yeah.
he'll be moving into the 21 control.
And 17 is probably something about organization. That's part of that organizational channel, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, some the opinions.
Hmm.
The personnel manager.
And when he talks, people listen. That was interesting when I'm watching a lot of footage. Apparently, his teammates they just stop talking when he has something to share.
Hmm,
He's revered. He is revered.
that's really
Um,
cool.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, please continue. Please, please.
so one of the things that I noticed is that they are both emotionally open. Now,
Yes.
in the let's see if I can do it here. There at the very bottom right, if you have a white triangle there, you feel everybody's emotions, and you might either amplify or distort other people's emotions. So for me, this has been a huge game changer, to realize that I was feeling all the feels, but they weren't necessarily my feelings all these years. So that's been one of the game changers for my own life.
Good observation. Yeah, they won't make their decisions from a feeling place. They might get caught up in the heat of the moment and whatnot, but they are generators or builders that move from an immediate response in their body.
Yes.
And that's where they make their in the moment decisions. Their body leads the way. It's that lower part in the belly area. They both have that in common. And they both have the inspiration or head center completely. Well, Messi is completely open. Ronaldo is open with a little activated trait there, like a dormant trait, just hanging out there. Um,
Which
but
is
they're both,
about that trait, the 61 is about inner truth.
and you would know that because you have that.
I do have that trait, yes.
And that's what connects us.
What I thought it was kind of too cool that we've not talked about, with Ronaldo is he has that 214 in his design. Actually, he's got 214, 81, and the 4323. So a lot of individual. Actually, his strengths are all individuality with the struggle. But he's collaborative. He's designed to be collaborative because his top, conceptualization to his um, communication, identity, and direction, and his energy resource, those are all connected. But then they're not getting down to his drive and stamina or over to his survival instincts. So he takes a little bit longer to process than Messi will. Messi has independent assimilation. So he will process very quickly. It may sometimes miss some of the details because he processes much quicker. It might take Ronaldo just a little longer to understand something, but once he does, he really gets it on a deeper level than Messi potentially does.
Good point. Thanks for bringing that up. And those channels that you talked about, the 8-1 and the 214, right down the center, uh, that's what makes him like an integral part of a small group.
Mhm.
Like it's like a coveted member of a small group, um, kind of holding the group together. And he also has the 6 in his chart, which is a leader or a potential growing into a leader. Um, And in his chart, he's different than Messi in that he does not have a defined ego center or heart center. So near Tammy's right shoulder, there's a little tiny white triangle. And over here on my chart, there's a red tiny triangle. So Messi has that defined, which is the ego defined. I have that, and I know I sound kind of arrogant and cocky a lot, but that's just how I am. Um,
How you're designed to be, right?
he's designed to be competitive and then prove it.
Mm.
Ronaldo is not designed to prove it, although people with that, like you have that open, Ronaldo has the ego open. There's a huge pressure and shadow drive to compete and prove it at any cost. Um, and sometimes those people go very far in the shadow, which is not a bad thing. I mean, that's how we get greatness half the time is from this place of mm, stress.
Yeah, it's where we're designed to have our most wisdom. So technically, our where we profit the most is in areas where we don't have definition, where we do have that openness because we experience it in a wider range than we do our definition. Um, and with Ronaldo, he has that 26 coming off of it. So it's like this strive to be the best.
Mm,
He's always feeling like he needs to be the best, to kind of prove himself by being the best.
yes. And his training certainly shows it. He's always trained, as they most of them are. Although I've learned that a lot of football players, even though they do well when they're younger, they don't consistently train, they party too much, and they move themselves out of the running for the future. But he's stayed in the game and he's kept with his training.
I think
Um,
it's really interesting because I would think that they would I would think that they would be younger when you say that, but I mean they're in their like 30s. Like they're
late 30s.
not it's not like what I would think of soccer football being is more of a young person's game. So, and not that, I mean, hello, I'm in my 50s. So it's not like 30s are old, but I mean, they're getting close to 40
Yeah,
here.
that's old for soccer.
Hmm.
That's old for soccer for sure. I want to read Ronaldo's life work theme.
Okay.
And it comes from a personal focus, and he comes from the mind, fulfilling purpose through the mind. And his theme is direction. He has an individual direction and a unique way of remembering experiences, brings a living, vibrant past into the future. And his conscious core essence is trait 13, the listener. He has the ability to be a good listener, although it can be surprising to others what they are telling him, all their secrets. He's perceived as a trusted confidant and a keeper of secrets. People naturally share their experiences with him because he genuinely enjoys hearing their stories, their adventures, victories, and challenges. I didn't even think about that, but um, there's footage of him listening to a young boy from a country other than his who studied Portuguese to be able to read it to him in person when they met in person, and other people were making fun of him. But Ronaldo was saying, hey, let's give this boy some respect. Look how hard he studied to be able to share this with me. Like he took the time. Um, I thought that was very touching. And again, I have not been watching soccer over a lifetime. You soccer fans out there, you know way more than me. And in the next segment of this, I'm going to be bringing on some soccer fans who can talk up and down with you, and they know nothing about human design and BG5 career analysis. Tammy and I are, this is what we do. Um, is there anything else on his chart that you think is interesting, Tammy?
Hmm. I think that I was actually looking at his future, past and future direction as well. And so the people that he is in the environment with, so he is designed to be in the environment with leaders, or to kind of serve leaders that are going through, or, where he simplifies the process. The strength, the 4323, is like this freak to genius, but it's about these breakthrough insights. So has a lot of people in his environment that will have these breakthrough insights as well as himself. But then on the unconscious level, the people that he's surrounded with, the 8 and the 14, so and that's in the fourth line. So his network, or the people that he's around, are people he knows. It's his people that he influences. The 8 is about contribution, and the 14 is about like capacity or power skills. And so he really makes sense. Like, a lot of people that he's around are using their skills in a very powerful way. And then lastly, the one thing that just kind of jumped out at me is he has the 5 and the 9. So the 5, he needs to have his own routine. Now, we have not looked at him side by side yet, but he only has a little bit of this whole strength that Messi has, the whole strength, but the routine is really important to him. So having a steady routine, if you have that 5 in your design, will be very helpful for you. And then that 9 is like he has this really strong ability to focus for long periods, to things that he's responded to, the things that excite him and light him up. He can focus for a long time with those. Not everything, just the things that he's excited about.
Nice way to weave a story. That's awesome. That's great. You mentioned the 214, which is right down the middle, and the 14 is the capacity to generate income, to generate resources, which he certainly has, as do many of these players. And these are central strengths to a good team surviving. And I will read one more thing about Ronaldo. His keynotes would be the listener, the leader, creative self-expression, and the driver. His body is the driver. And although Messi and Ronaldo have similar charts, they have different strengths. And Messi may be swayed by his not sure what to think yet, or what to focus on yet, and managing other people's emotions, that white triangle that they both share. Ronaldo may struggle with that as well, but as you and I both have those open centers, over time, it really is easier to go like, that's someone else's emotional mess.
Mm-hmm.
I can be empathetic, but it's not mine.
I think will be a little harder for Ronaldo because he's what's called completely open. He doesn't have any traits that plug in, so he feels a wide range of emotions and may not always know where that's coming from. People that I talk to that have that, emotions can be very confusing for them.
That's a really good point. So Tammy's mentioning that his solar plexus emotional center is wide open, just like Messi's inspiration center is wide open. Wide open means there's no little colored traits hanging around. So they do have that. That is really interesting. And Ronaldo has the open ego, which is a very big pressure to compete. It's a very big pressure. And
yeah, and he has part of the centering circuitry, which is about competition too. Like, he has the 25 and the 10, which are part of like in an OC16 in a large organization. That is part of the competitiveness circuitry, or theme.
yes, and they both have the 10, like you mentioned, which is behavior of self. You have that. You understand that really well. And they actually do have to be an example and control their behavior the best they can.
Yeah.
Because people are watching. People
Mm,
are watching them
yeah.
specifically.
Yes. When your behavior is off, people notice.
Mhm. Oh, this is great. This is a nice introduction, and stick with the show because we're going to have some guests on who know soccer, who know football, and they can talk. And I might chime in and draw what they're talking about on the charts. Tammy, thank you so much for getting us started. I love it. See you guys in a minute.
See you later.